establishment or construction of a fish pond. The following operations are normally carried out when establishing a fish pond. Number one is the site selection. Site selection involves the choice of the best site based on necessary conditions, like a piece of land through which a perennial stream flows. The site should be on a fertile and clay soil to prevent spillage of water. It should have a valley with narrow neck and at a fairly open area. General survey. Detailed survey on the chosen site should be carried out, especially by the extension workers. Such workers help to determine the height of the pond, the volume of the earth to be used for the duct, the total water surface area, the volume of the water in the pond, or the embankment. Clearing and stumping of the site. This involves the removal of trash, cutting of trees, and removal of the stumps. Constructions of dams. Dams is usually constructed across the streams. Material used in the construction should be of a good quality. Clay soil should be used for dam construction because of its ability to hold water. Construction of the core trench. This involves the removal of the soil or excavations. It is positioned at the right angle to the dam. Such dams should be made with consolidated stones or cement walls. Constructions of the spillway. Spillway is positioned at one end of the dam. Wood and wire mesh screen should be used to construct the spillway. Impoundment of the pond. This involves the filling of the pond with water by opening the monk board of the reservoir. This leads to the release of water and flow to fill the pond. Liming. This involves the addition of limestone or calcium carbonate powder to the side and bottom of the pond to seal the pores and prevent water loss. Liming also reduces the acidity of the pond water and encourages the growth of the planktons, that's the fish food. However, liming is done before filling the pond with water. The lime material should be left for 4 weeks in its dry state. Pond fertilization. Fertilizers encourages the growth of the planktons, that's the fish food. Pond fertilization is done by pouring organic fertilizers such as the poultry droppings, the cow dung, or the use of inorganic ones like the NPK or sulfur or superphosphate. Pond fertilization should be carried out 15 days before stocking the ponds with water. Pond inoculation. This is the introduction of proper plankton species into the ponds. This is done by obtaining some water from a plankton-rich pond and pouring into a newly fertilized pond. When the pond water begins to turn green, this green water indicates the abundance of plankton. That's natural food for the fish. To keep the water green, fertilizers is added into the pond every week. So for the pond inoculation is just introducing a proper plankton species into the pond, and this is how do you introduce them is from an existing pond. You just obtain some water from a plankton rich pond, then you pour it into the newly fertilized ponds, and that's it. Talking of ponds, this is the introduction of the proper baby fish called the fingerlings or fries into the pond. The pond is stocked at the rate of 2 fingerlings per square meter. The fingerlings should not be poured into the pond. Rather, the container should be placed directly into the water and the fingerlings allowed to swim into the ponds themselves. So we should not just throw them into the ponds. We try to put the container into the water and the fingerlings flow into the water by themselves.